Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello, welcome to Christ King Business Studies online classes. Today I will take up organization structure. Organization structure. In previous class we have studied about what is organizing, then importance of organizing, steps in organizing process. So let us move on to the next part, that is organization structure. What is organization structure? In any business organization for that matter, there will be hierarchy of positions, like who should report to whom. A chart will be prepared at the beginning stage itself, that is planning stage itself, depending upon the type of organization, the scale of the organization, a structure will be prepared, how many employees are required, and what they are supposed to do, and what should be their designation, what responsibility they should take, how much authority they will have, and to whom they should report. So, a hierarchy of position will be prepared, that is defining the authority and responsibility, establishing relationship among them. That is nothing but organization structure. Suppose if we prepare an organization structure, managing director or the chairman will be at the highest of at the top of the organizational ladder. So when we prepare this, managing director, under him maybe there are some director finance, director marketing, director maybe production, like that. Different directors will be there. Under them there may be presidents, then vice presidents. Then comes the next part, that is managers, like that. General managers, engineers, then supervisors, workers, like that. We will prepare a structure where you will be placed. That is depending upon the skill and that is knowledge of the employees. The employees will be fixed in the organization structure. When designation is given, like general manager, Mr. A is appointed as a general manager, to whom he has to report. Managing director will be the highest authority, and GM will be working under him, and directors also, they will be next to MD, but GM has to report to directors also. So like that, so depending upon the authority and responsibility given to the employees or the people, the organization structure will be prepared. This chart of hierarchy of positions in an organization is nothing but organization structure. Let us analyze the definition and let us make the meaning of organization structure very clear. According to Theo Heyman, organization is the structural framework within which various efforts are coordinated and related to each other. Let us analyze this. Organization is the structural framework. Structural framework means how the position of the people should be in the organization. So likewise, I have prepared here MD, then directors, then general president, vice presidents, then general managers, then maybe managers, deputy managers, assistant managers, like that. When we prepare this structure or the hierarchy of positions, that itself is called structural framework. So organization is the structural framework within this organizational structure, various efforts are coordinated. The efforts of people, the people working in the organization, their efforts are coordinated or grouped together, because no one can go out of the organizational objective. Everyone has to work for the organization. So the efforts or the work done by each and every employee will be grouped together. Otherwise there will be confusion. There will be confusion. So for that reason, that will be coordinated or grouped together and related to each other. Which activities are grouped together, which are related to each other. Otherwise, what will happen? Everyone will work in his own style, and ultimately, the ultimate goal of the organization cannot be achieved. That is very important. We have to make sure that we are coordinating the efforts of the group which are related to each other. Like purchase department, receiving quotations, then placing the order, receiving material, inspecting the material, maintaining the records, issuing to the production department. So maintaining the inventory control, isn't it? All these things comes under the purchase department, because these activities, issuing to the production department, or maintaining the records of purchase, or checking the quality of the material received, all these are related activities. So they will be grouped together. These are related activities which are grouped together and will be placed under the banner that is purchase department. So efforts are coordinated and related to each other. So it will be called a particular department. So this is called organization structure. So when we take up a department or when we take up an organization, there we will see hierarchy of positions in each and every department and even in the entire organization. So when the organization structure is prepared, it is very easy to fix the responsibility, to know what is their authority, who should report to whom and who is working under whom, who has to obey the orders of whom. All these can be very clearly defined and there will not be any confusion among the employees. Otherwise what happens? Duplication of work will take place. Whatever work Mr. A is doing, same work will be done by Mr. B and the same work will be done by Mr. C also, because no one is guiding them, no one is coordinating the activities of these people. So there will be deviation of, that is the very objective of the organization. So this is the very meaning of organizational structure. Let us move on to the types of organizational structure. There are two types. Mainly there are two types. That is, first one is functional structure and second one is the divisional structure. Let us know the meaning of functional structure. When we prepare the organizational structure or chart of organization based on the functions, different functions that are performed in the organization, that is called functional structure. Like, let me give you example: production, marketing, accounting, all these are coming under, there is different activities that are done which are called different functions. Production function, marketing function, accounting function. Under these functions there are similar activities or related activities are grouped together, like production department, receiving material from the stores or the purchase department, then inspection of the quality, then production, then maintaining the production records and maintenance of the machines. All this comes under the production department. If you take a marketing department, checking the total quantity that is lying with us in finished form, how much is there as WIP, work in progress, that is partially finished goods. How much is there in the form of maybe like raw materials, and what is the requirement of the market, how much quantity we should supply during this month, preparing, that is a budget of next month. All these activities are related to each other and they are placed under the banner of marketing department, because that is another function. Then third one, accounting, is a cost or the salaries of employees, payrolls, preparing, all these comes under accounting department. So these are classified on the basis of the functions that are performed by each and every department. So related activities are grouped under a particular department, that is called functional structure. So we will divide here the employees or the people in the organization on the basis of the activities that are done which are related to each other. Moving on to the functional structure, the merits of functional structure, will take up divisional structure later. Functional structure are that the main merits or benefits of functional structure are increased efficiency. Efficiency of the employees will increase. How? Because when they do the same activity every day. In my previous class I had explained the division of labor and specialization. When same activity is done by a person continuously, then he will become mastery over, he will acquire mastery over that activity, on that activity, and he can give better output and wastage gets reduced. Chances of accident will be reduced because he is trained employee, he is experienced employee, he is well efficient. So because of specialization, the output of the employee will increase. Ultimately, it increases the efficiency of the employee and also the efficiency of the organization. When each and every employee is performing better in his work, then ultimately the output will increase, cost per unit of production will decrease, and profit part will increase because we will have the cost advantage. Suppose similar line of organizations which are working in the similar lines. If their cost of production per unit is 10 rupees, we may have the cost of production 8 rupees per unit. Nothing but cost advantage over our rivals. So we can sell at 10, but others they cannot. If they sell also, it will be at no profit, no loss basis. But even if we sell at 10, we will earn rupees 2 as profit. So when the efficiency increases, the cost per unit of output will decrease. Then ultimately the efficiency of the organization and also the profit of the organization will increase. That is one of the advantages or benefits of functional structure. Second one, increased control and coordination. When we group the activities depending upon the nature of activities performed by the employees, when similar activities or related activities are grouped under one department, then what happens? There will be more control because the people know what others are doing, what the subordinates are doing. The manager will be very well aware of. So ultimately what happens? The manager can exercise better control over the subordinates, and ultimately there will be more coordination among the people working in the department because all activities are related to each other. The work done by Mr. A is related with the work done by Mr. B. So B has to coordinate with A and A has to coordinate with B. So the same thing will happen in the entire department. So that is another advantage or merit of functional structure. Third one is increased managerial efficiency. Of course, when clear-cut hierarchy of organization structure is formed on the basis of activities done, then delegation of authority will be very easy. Because the production manager can depute his work in his absence to the deputy manager working in that department. So that the deputy manager will get an opportunity to learn the job of production manager. And if there is a need, the deputy manager can be promoted to higher level, that is, he can become the production manager if there is a need. Because I already told you in my previous class, hiring from outside will be costlier for the organization because we never know what type of employee he or she is. And if we give promotion to the people working in the organization, it will be better for the organization. No need to train them again. Management knows the capacity of that employee properly, and management knows that employee, how the employee is. Because if you appoint from outside, they may not be honest or loyal to the organization. And when the management comes to know about these things, then there will be more confusion, or there is a problem to the organization. The employee may land the organization in trouble. So to avoid such things, it is better to promote from within the organization. So here, increased coordination is possible. Then better managerial efficiency is possible only when there is proper delegation of authority and responsibility. So efficiency can be seen in the management, and even when there is efficiency in the managerial capacity, then definitely the organization will work in a smooth way, and it increases the profit, and also there will be peace among the employees. And decrease duplication. When the work of each and every employee is clearly defined, no question of duplication of work. Mr. A is given the responsibility of production department. He will not interfere in purchase department. He will not interfere in marketing department, because he is not specialized in that field. So he should be given proper work so that he will not interfere in others' work. He will be busy in his own work. Ultimately, there will not be duplication of work. Work will be done by only one person, and that work will not be done by any other person in that organization. So that is another advantage. The next one is easy to train the employees. Suppose we have to train the employees who are working in production department. When production department is specifically created and the people working in production department is known to us, it will be very easy for us to identify to whom the training should be given. We need not have to give training to all the engineers. Those who are supposed to work in production department, they need training, because there is a change in the technology of production. Then we can call those engineers only, and we can give them training, so that there will be very easy identification of the need of training, and it is easy to train the employees. And last one is individual attention. When each and every department is separated from each other in terms of activities that are to be done, then there will be individual attention on each and every employee, because the departmental head or the person who is the head of that particular department, maybe production department or marketing department or purchase department, they will look after the well-being of the employees working under them. They want to keep the employees with high morale. Morale means the mental status. The people, when they speak positively about the organization, then we call it as it is increased morale among the employees. If they speak against the management or the organization, then it is a sign of decreased morale among the employees. So we can give individual attention, and we can assess the performance of each and every employee very clearly. This is another merit of functional structure. Let us move on to the dark side of functional structure. There is demerits, minus points, disadvantages. First one is increased importance to some areas. Let me give you best example. Suppose the managing director or the president of the organization, who is supposed to look after the work of the works of the factory. Then, if he is technically sound, he will give more concentration, he will do more favor to the technical side. It's production department, maintenance department. There he will interfere much, and he will look after, he will give more concern to those departments. If the president of the organization is a person who is from commercial side, not technical one, then he will give more concentration on accounting, human resources department, and all these areas. So depending upon the person's interest, the top level position, who is heading the top level position, his interest, the departments will be concentrated. So higher importance, more importance to some areas. That means the other areas will be neglected, which is not good for the nation. Because each and every department is very important, and the head of the department or the head of the organization. He has to concentrate properly in all the areas, because one area may collapse the entire organization or may put the organization in trouble. So for that reason, he has to concentrate in all the areas. So some areas may be neglected under functional structure. Second one is lack of coordination. There may not be coordination among the departments, like production department and accounts department, production department and maintenance department. Though they are linked together, production and maintenance mostly they are linked together, go hand in hand, because machines mostly they need maintenance. So for that reason, they are mostly related to each other. But whatever accounts department is not related to production department. So there may be lack of coordination among the people. Every departmental head wants to show or prove his efficiency, and this will collapse the organization, because when there will be competition among the managers of different departments, if it is healthy competition, no problem, it's good for organization. If there is unhealthy competition, then definitely that will land the organization in trouble. If there is conflicts, clashes, politics among there is some managers of different departments, definitely it is not good sign for the organization. That is another demerit of functional structure. Third one is interdepartmental conflicts. The people working in different departments, like engineer of production department and engineer of maintenance department, they may not come to a common agreement, or whatever the point of view that is proposed by the production department may not be agreed by the engineer of that is maintenance department. So there may be clashes and conflicts in the organization. If the same person is looking after both departments, then there is no question of any clash, as there is separation of departmental activities. Then definitely there will be conflict in the employees or the managerial persons. Then interdepartmental last one is inflexibility, because we will not find any flexibility here. Each and every person's job is clearly described. The authority is already fixed, and they have to act within their authority. They cannot go beyond that, and they cannot bypass the orders of their boss, because totally their authority is clearly defined. They are not supposed to go out of the boundary that is given to them. This will lead to inflexibility, because the person who has more skill and more knowledge may not be in a position to use his own knowledge or skill in the work, because he has to work within the framework given to him, and he has to listen to the orders of his boss, and he cannot bypass the orders of his boss. That will make inflexibility in the functional structure. So these are the four demerits of a functional structure. Let me move on to the last part, concluding part, where it is suitable. Functional structure is suitable in case of in such operations where high degree of specialization is required. Like different departments are to be created, like in a small shop or small trading concern, no question of division of work, because all the work activities are handled by a single person. But when you move on to a large scale like MNCs or transnational form of business operation, then definitely there is a requirement of high degree of specialization, because all activities cannot be done by one person. So a job will be described for him in which he is expert. So he can prove better in that area, and he can show his increased performance or more output can be given by the employee, which will increase the profit of the organization. So such organizations where high degree of specialization is required, there only we can create functional structure that will be beneficial for such organizations, and especially that is done in case of large scale business organizations. So this is about functional structure assignment for you. Mention the merits and demerits of functional structure. Mention the merits and demerits of functional structure. That is advantages and disadvantages of functional structure. Submit the assignment on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.